I believe that magic is art, and that art, whether that be music, writing, sculpture, or any other form, is literally magic. Art is, like magic, the science of manipulating symbols, words, or images to achieve changes in consciousness. Indeed, to cast a spell is simply to spell, to manipulate words, to change people's consciousness. And this is why I believe that an artist or a writer is the closest thing to the contemporary world to a shaman. So that's pretty powerful. This is, me teaching you about um, witchcraft and everything of that nature. I would. See, it came up. Alright, so. Check out this one. Aw. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, blast it. Excuse me. Alright. Sorry. I'm uploading a couple of videos right now, which is why this is being dumb. Let me try that again. What the hell? Alright, this is bugging me. Holly. Arlene, Christ thorn, holly tree, or some species of holly. Ilex European holly, Christ thorn, is a broadleaved evergreen tree native to Europe. This is a variety of whose waxy leaves and bright berries are used extensively in winter decoration. Most of the information on this page applies to this species. And so we can see that a lot of celebrations were actually supporting the occult. Romans sent boughs of holly and gifts to their friends during Saturnalia. Saturn, a custom which early Christians adopted despite controversy. An edict of the Church of Bracara once forbid Christians to decorate their homes with holly because of its origins as a pagan practice. In Britain, Druids decorated their homes with holly in the winter to invite sylvan spirits to shelter there. One legend says that holly first sprang from the footsteps of Jesus Christ, with its thorns and red berries representing his suffering and blood. The neo-pagan lore, the Holly King, rules the dark half of the year, from autumn to spring equinox, being strongest at midwinter, while its contemporary anniversary, the Oak King, is the inverse. And that goes into a lot of Druidism. I was actually just oh, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna share some videos with you. Let me astrotheology. Blast it. Blast it. Blast it. I can't do this. I really hate the essay. It's impossible to text like this. Alright, here we go.
You see, the Holy Land. This is the 33 bones that make the spinal cord, the spinal column. Okay, and it's always divided into 5 parts. Now, in the Bible, in Genesis, let me see, Jacob, in Genesis 32. It says this: finally Jacob was left by himself. This shows how much of this science is in the scriptures. When people read about Jacob, they think, oh, that's Israel. Israel, because he got his name changed from Jacob to Israel. I'm going to show you how that happened. Right? He gets the sun, because Jacob, it's got to be the sun. It's talking about light, remember. Everything's talking about light. So you read the Bible, the character is light or magnetism. Just remember that, and you'll decode it. So Jacob is down here, Israel is up here, Abram is here, Abraham is up here. The sun gets a name change at that equilibrium point. See, this is angular momentum here. This is the wave, remember, this is the wave amplitude. This is the wavelength. Remember, we had the sine wave going down here, right? So this is the amplitude, okay? So the sun is always going to change his aspects as he goes through those quadrants. In fact, the Egyptians said this is Horus, this is Ra, this is Set, and this is Osiris, which are just aspects of light. You see, these 4 quadrants, these 4 seasons, these 4 stations were given their quality of light. And this light is Horus, the newborn sun. That's Horus that Isis holds in her hands, because here the sun is born. And in fact, on the 25th of March, that's when Gabriel says to Mary, you're going to conceive. Remember Gabby? Yeah, the messenger of God. He says to Mary, he says, you're going to conceive. Sure does. On the 25th of December. From the 25th of March, 9 months later, 25th of December, the sun is born. That's what it's talking about. And that's why we celebrate Easter. Because also the sun is resurrected here. He dies on the cross and then he's resurrected. But going back to Jacob, finally Jacob was left by himself. Then a man began to grapple with him until the dawn ascended. Do you remember this story? Yeah. Okay. Good. When he got to see that he had not prevailed over him, then he touched the socket of his thigh joint, and the socket of Jacob's thigh joint got out of place during the grappling with him. After that he said, let me go, for the dawn has ascended. For the dawn has ascended. To this he said, I am not going to let you go until you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? To which he said, Jacob. Then he said, your name will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. Where the dawn ascends, your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel. Okay? For you have contended with God and with men, so that you have at last prevailed. Here the sun is contending with enemies. Is contending with God, with these angels. Remember the bad angels of Saturn. And then this is all about here. This is all about the sun contending. He's struggling to bring back the lighter. Remember the plus over here, the spring. He's struggling to pass over. He's struggling to grow his rays so that he can be longer days, shorter nights. Because here is longer nights, shorter days. So this is the struggle period where Jacob struggles with an angel, and then he succeeds. Okay? Now it gets better. Hang on to your seats. This gets really, really good. Because you have prevailed. In turn, Jacob inquired and said, tell me, please, your name. However, he said, why is it that you inquire? for my name. With that he blessed him there. Hence Jacob called the name of that place Peniel. Sound familiar? Pineal? Hang on. So he called the place, remember, and because to quote him, I have seen God's face, I have seen God face to face, and yet my soul was delivered. And then it goes on to talk about he sees a ladder, and angels going up and down the ladder, and he was sleeping on a stone. Remember that the stone of Scone? Queen Elizabeth claims to be coronated on the stone of Scone. That's Jacob's stone, where he had this dream. Right? Remember the Union Jack flag and the blue and red that's on there? This is all Israelite and Freemasonry symbolism, okay? This is the ladder, the stairway to heaven, the 33 degrees of Freemasonry. And this is how you get up to heaven. Heaven's up here. The pineal gland is at the top, where Taurus is, where I showed you that Taurus has the Pleiades in it, and the Pleiades corresponds to the pineal gland. That's the pineal that he's talking about, where Orion is and Taurus, up here, the two hemispheres of the left and right brain. And he said that he saw God face to face. This is where you see. This is the third eye. This just sees a very thin slither of reality. Very, very thin. This one sees the lot. You see God face to face. And where was the stone that he laid his head on? Would that be the sacrum? What does sacrum mean? Does that mean sacred? Oh yes, it does. See this? The sacrum is five of these spinal bones fused together. It's a stone. It's the stone of Scone. This is where Jacob lays his head, and then he sees the angels climbing up the ladder, and he sees God face to face and calls it the place where he saw God, Peniel. This is the brain, and these are the 12 nerves of the brain, the 12 cranial nerves. And there are their names. Okay? Optic, olfactory, facial, etc. These are the 12 disciples that Jesus sends down into the circuit of Galilee to preach to the Gentiles. Remember the Gentiles that you're supposed to kill, those Perizzites and Jebusites? That's your lower nature. Light has a lower nature. That's what we call evil. And that's down there. This is hell. The heart is the middle earth. And then this is the heaven. You see? You go up into the heaven. The right brain, remember that one? The intuitive? Well, there's the two hemispheres of the brain. See that? That's the corpus callosum. That's the Red Sea. To get from the children of Israel to get to the Holy Land must cross the corpus callosum. You must cross from the left brain into the right brain to get back to the Garden of Eden or the Holy Land. And guess where it is? Here. There it is in the head. The head is here. So when the sun finally...
Stop this real quick. Christ, and just realize that he's using XY axis to do. Oops. Let me turn it over. There we go. Something similar to that called, well, it's a sine wave. And it
comes into exaltation. It's in Aries and Taurus in the head. And what has happened is we have a chance of passing into the Holy Land. It's in the head.
So, alright, with that being said, let me actually pause this for, you know what, no I don't need to. I blessed it. Cool, I'm still running. I thought I might have messed up. Alright, so, for starters, a video of me videoing a video.
If we begin to look at universe, we have, some sort of a view of the evolution of consciousness in the universe. There was consciousness before human consciousness appeared. There were all that's actually a raging debate in the scientific community. Yeah, and I work on an area professionally now. Yeah. Called the unified field theory. Yes. Einstein, of course, gave us the atomic bomb, gave us the Big Bang, the black holes. Yeah. Those are the contributions of Einstein. Yeah. But he spent the last 30 years of his life on an unfinished dream. Yeah. And he failed. He blew it on the third try. Yeah. And his theory was called the unified field theory, the theory of the universe. Yeah. An equation 1 inch long that would explain everything. It would explain magnetism, electricity, the sun, the stars, the universe. It would explain the galaxies, the Big Bang, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Well, today, even though, of course, Einstein failed in the last 30 years of his life, today we think we have it. It's called the superstring theory.
All right. And actually, before I go any further, oh my lordy.
Tonight, the genius of Albert Einstein has been revealed almost 90 years after he displayed part of it. You see, back in the 1930s, Einstein wrote the unified theory. That's what it came to be called. But it was missing some pages. So a lot of scientists were never able to actually figure it out. Well, guess what? Those pages have been found.
Notice how the narrative changed? Notice how the narrative changed. Missing pages. Well, he failed. Einstein failed. He couldn't complete it. And the thing is that he was, actually against quantum physics. And so, if these papers reveal anything about quantum physics, there is extreme suspicion. There already is extreme suspicion. I already commented on this.
Dozens of manuscript pages written by Albert Einstein himself were unveiled in Israel today. Most of the letters...
Did you hear that?
...have never been... Those pages have been found. Dozens of manuscript pages written by Albert Einstein himself were unveiled in Israel today. Himself were unveiled in Israel today. Most of the letters in Israel today. Most of the letters have never been seen in public before. RT's Trinity Chavez has this story.
As Albert Einstein's birthday approaches, researchers have discovered an archive of never-before-seen handwritten letters by the famed physicist, giving researchers a first-hand look of what went on in the mind of the renowned scientist. Israel's Hebrew University celebrating Einstein's 140th birthday with a collection of 110 manuscript pages featuring handwritten mathematical notes, most from 1944 to 1948. A professor at the university said, "For a birthday, we need a present, and I couldn't think of a more meaningful, precious, and appropriate gift. It's a gift for us, but it's also a gift for Einstein himself, because we have acquired a magnificent volume of unique material, and it was Einstein's wish that all his intellectual wealth will finally be at the Hebrew University." The collection includes an appendix, which the university said it thought was lost, a paper on unified field theory, and 4 letters from Einstein to his lifelong friend and fellow scientist, Michael Besso. 3 of the 1916 letters talk about Einstein's monumental work based on, quote, glorious idea on the absorption and emissions of light atoms. This idea later became the basis for laser technology. Einstein, who developed the theory of relativity, a pillar of modern science, tried unsuccessfully for a decade to prove another concept, that electromagnetism and gravity were different manifestations of a single fundamental field. He won the 1921 Nobel Prize for Physics. Einstein, who settled in the United States after renouncing his citizenship when Adolf Hitler came to power, donated his scientific and personal writings to Hebrew University upon his death in Einstein, who settled in the United States after renouncing his citizenship when Adolf Hitler came to power,
Operation Paperclip.
Donated his scientific and personal writings to Hebrew University upon his death in 1955. Hebrew University said it had received the papers as a donation to its 80,000-item Albert Einstein archives from a foundation in Chicago after they were purchased from a private collector. Reporting in New York, Trinity Chavez, RT.
I'm Rick Sanchez. You found us on YouTube, and that's awesome, but
what was I gonna do? It wasn't this. It was, damn. I'll think of it in a second. Hold on, let me, go back up. Well, I'm going to be talking about, this is going to be a few-part series, and so what I'm going to be talking about is how science and religion are essentially the same. And I'm going to be doing it based on Christianity because that's one that I'm more familiar with and all that good stuff. So, without further ado, we start off with Genesis, which is essentially the Big Bang theory. And what it comes down to is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, that's the Big Bang. In the beginning, time, God created the heavens, space, and the earth, matter. Time, space, matter in the right order. So, alright, now to get to some sciencey stuff. So we're carbon-based life forms. Alright, so carbon, 6 neutrons, right? 6 protons. And then 6 electrons. What we got there? We got the mark of the damn beast, right? 666. Carbon. At the same time, when we do a platonic solid, a representation of Earth, which is, a representation of Earth is a cube, and Earth represents organic life forms. Carbon. So, it's a cube, right? Boom. Boom. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, because when we flatten a cube out, what we got? We got a cross, right? We got a cross. Then. We've had the hex put on us. What's a hex? A hex is short for 6. Oh, it's a different way to say 6. Hexagonal. We've had a hex put on us. So, hopefully I didn't cut my head off on this one. Alright, that's part 1. Alright, so take it a little bit further. Alright, so the next part of this is myself a few little things here. Basically, broke everything down into degrees and whatnot. This is where it really comes into play. This is really where it comes into play. And I get a little backwards on it, but I haven't worked on it a little bit. Anyways, so what's happening here is, okay, so we established this. By the way, the cube is six-sided also. That's what it comes down to. It's six-sided. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No confusion. But alright, what's the most perfect shape? What's the most perfect shape? It's a circle, a sphere, in three-dimensional form. That's why the flat Earth is so preposterous. Especially because they'll also say that, things are buoyant, and if things are buoyant, if it's a fluid universe, which, let me just say, focus on one thing, but, equal pressure, that's why things form spheres in the natural world, and that's why they, it said that Jesus is everywhere, as I said, Marian, science, religion, nature, this theory of everything. So Jesus is all around us, a sphere. That's why bubbles are round. That's why hail is round. That's why stones they become rounded. And planets are round. It's just the way it goes. So with that being said, we're gonna go to an extreme here, or we're gonna just go right into the theory. And this is where that gets confusing. And so this is gonna be multi-part thing here. So essentially, let's actually just start off with the equation first. So 1, just call that +1, -1 equals 0. That's the theory of everything. Why is that the theory of everything? Alright, let me actually just go through and explain that. So, man, God, Jesus, right? Because the only way to get to God is through Jesus and all that good stuff, right? And Jesus is made both man and God. Well, then at the same time, we have around 0 is two-dimensional form of a sphere. Turn into 3D, we got ourselves a little bubble net. And so that's where it comes into everything, right? So we got hot, cold, warm, right? We got high, low, medium. We've got, there's a million of them. I should have done everything. But, we can go gas, solid, liquid, right? We can do something like that. Basically, is the equation for everything. We have the unity of the duality, which makes the Holy Trinity. That's what this comes down to. And let's see. Yeah, that's good. I'll come up on later point and stuff. But as I said, I forgot countless things. So yeah, just on two-dimensional form, or yeah, X we just got X or Y. So just name one on that scale of positive one, right? And well, that's the thing, is we got this, universe, right? We got this barrier between us. And that's the thing, God created man in his image. Well, the only way being that I'm physically here, that's why I put positive stuff for man, whatnot, and use the negative one for Jesus, or for God. But going up to the XY axis, well, it's what we got there. Zero rest on the cross, right? Jesus died on the cross. See where I'm going with this? And at the same time, we're building, an arch and whatnot. Okay, so my thing's the law. But we got, equal pressure on this side and equal pressure on this side. And the thing is, what the transfer point is the keystone right here. And that's the whole thing, is with the XY axis, we're able to come up with blueprints and whatnot. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Because this is just the beginning. This turns into this, and it turns into this. We'll get to that point here soon, but so this is part 2. So real quick. So we got carbon-based life forms, 666, neutron, protons, electrons. That's carbon. Let me fast forward to see if I go through the other part. Some etymology. Liquid. Linear scale. Alright, so, and I'm sorry, I'm dragging this out a little bit, but, that was 4 years ago. Let me actually put this in here. I don't even think I spelled that right. I thank God swipe. That's my, Alright, here we go. Because I'm a crazy crackpot conspiracy theorist, and I really don't like the way my phone works sometimes, because I try to set things up and it's like, I don't want to do that. That's why I need a camera person. Anyways, so why you being like, Earth as a platonic solid. That resembles Earth as a platonic solid. Made a few videos about this already, but I'm gonna get it out there one way or another. When you flatten out a cube, it's in the form of a cross. At the same time, this is called a hexagon. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. Carbon. Life. On Earth, right? Carbon is made of 6 electrons, 6. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to do there. Oh my God. I'm starting to think about writing on a dry erase board. That's why that happens. And 6 protons. We've been marked with the hex 666. Carbon life. And this is what I'm trying to tell people, is that people are looking at the Bible all wrong. All wrong. Absolutely wrong. Well, I shouldn't say absolutely wrong, but pretty wrong. You know, and the first line, Genesis, right? Genesis. Well, we'll take a little step down etymology road. I might be misspelling it. I'm not really that great at spelling. Genocide. Anyways, you got gene, like genealogy. And then cis. You know, Isis. You know, which is, there's the mother. So you have the genealogy of the mother, Genesis. At the same time, the first line of Genesis is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Maybe I can squeeze that right over here. Beginning. You know, because I'm running out of space here. Heavens. The earth. So beginning as time, heavens, space, earth, matter equals Big Bang. In the exact order. So hopefully this kind of makes some sense to things. And this does go into my theory of everything. And so if you want to catch up. But I mean, this isn't too bad for a crash course, huh? You know, and the thing is, I can take steps in a few directions. I can take steps in enough directions to prove my point. And that's something that I'm really trying to work on resistance about there, because people are misunderstood about a lot of things. Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong, and I apologize if whatever. So, you know, that's kind of the gist of things. Like, I actually know what I'm talking about a lot of stuff. When I was actually trying to, like, I was actually exposed it to Horizon Horse. It was, oh, how do you spell them? Horse. I feel like I spelled his name wrong. Hold on. The origin of the word hour is very interesting. It comes from the Egyptian god Horus, and Horus, as the Egyptian mythology, is the son of the god Osiris. Horus is symbolic of the sun, and the sun is considered to be the savior of the world. This makes Horus the savior of the world in Egyptian mythology. Also, the savior of the world is called the Christ. Pardon me, my cereal is starting to go out. Horus is depicted as a god with a falcon head. Now, we come to ancient Egypt. More than 3,000 years before Christianity began, the early morning sun savior was pictured in Egypt as the newborn baby. The infant savior's name was Horus. When the sun rise, daybreak come, it was said that the savior, Horus, has risen. Every morning when the savior, Horus, rose, it was considered a newborn baby. In the Egyptian mythology, and like, I'm not too certain if this can go into it, but Horus, horizon. In Egyptian mythology, the early morning sun, or the newborn babe, was pictured in two ways: the dove, bringer of peace; the hawk, god of war, who punishes the enemies of the God. Pardon me. At daybreak, this wonderful newborn child, God's son, is born again. Horus is risen. Even today, when the sun comes up, we see it on the Horus rising, or horizon. It did cover it. His life also divided into 12 parts or steps across the heaven each day. 12 Horus, 12 hours. This is the origin of the modern day 12-step program. That's interesting because you think of Alcoholics Anonymous and such too. But we look at the calendar year, the hours, and everything of that nature. And so I don't need to proceed any further in regards to this. Hopefully this video was very informative and was able to encapsulate certain parts of your minds with an aura of wonder and amazement. And like, not everything is bleak. Once a person is able to see things for the way they are, the choices become easier. It's about overcoming those fears, and the thing is, I've overcame a lot of my fears just by facing them. Oops. Counter phobia. Counterphobia is a term used to describe those seeking a feared object or situation rather than avoiding it. The origin, Counterphobia is the term used to describe those seeking a feared object or situation rather than avoiding it. The origin of the word counter is Latin, meaning against or opposed to. And phobia is Greek meaning fear. Counterphobia is considered to be a unique psychological condition and specific phobia, which is discussed on this homepage. It is generally accepted that phobias arise from a combination of external traumatic events and internal predispositions, heredity, or genetics. Many specific phobias can be traced back to a specific triggering event, usually a traumatic experience at an early age. Social phobias and agoraphobia have more complex causes that are not entirely known at this time. It is believed that heredity, genetics, and brain chemistry combine with life experiences to play a major role in the development of phobias. What are the symptoms? As with any phobias, the symptoms vary by person depending on their level of fear. The symptoms typically include extreme anxiety, dread, and anything associated with panic, such as shortness of breath, rapid breathing, irregular heartbeat, swearing, excessive sweating, nausea, dry mouth, nausea again, inability to articulate words or sentences, dry mouth, and shaking. Can I take medicine? Medicine can be prescribed, but please note that these medications can have such side effects and or withdrawal symptoms that can be severe. And it's also important to note that medicines do not cure phobias. At best, they only temporarily suppress the symptoms. However, there are treatments for phobias, which include counseling, hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, and neuro-linguistic programming. Please click on it. So, I hope that's informative for you. And actually, look, you know what? I'm gonna leave y'all with this, and I'm not trying to steal anybody's profits or percent. I'm just sharing information, y'all. That's all I really care to do is just share information with you. And so, I want to leave y'all with this. Stay motivated, y'all. You mean a lot to me. And we need each other. We're not against each other. No matter our creed, religion, ethnicity, hairstyles, anything. We love. That's what sets us apart from everybody else. And that's what brings everybody else to us is our love. Keep on loving everybody.
For me, it's about forcing evolution, pushing the boundaries of what the human being can do. I'm just not the kind of person who's going to sit there and let fear stand in between me and the things that I love. And will I die doing them? Very possible. But I'm okay with it. Because if I do it, then I've done something that very few human beings in this world are willing to do. If I die while doing it, well, then I get what I want. I do believe that certain people have certain gifts. And all of these different gifts are unique to them.
is as incredible as I possibly can. This is how I show my love. I made it in my mind because I blame it on my ADD, baby. This is how an angel dies. Blame it on my own supply. Blame it on my ADD, baby. Maybe I'm a different breed. Maybe I'm...
Oops.
Kleenex was made for this.
Sorry. You know what? I actually just had a different thought. And pardon me, just look at my previous videos. I've been uploading a few today, so just look at the ones that came previous to this and you understand my situation. But, Jeb Corliss actually introduced me to, oh my god, hold on a second. Jesus. Yeah, no, sorry, damn. The Pepe. Philippe de Pe... Oh my god. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. This is my situation. Philippe. The... Oh my god. This is killing me. Hold on. You know what? Google. It's Philippe de Pep. WTC title. Philippe de Pep. Philippe Patet. Blast it. No, Philippe. I'm sorry. I'm being dumb. This is me being freaking human. See, this is what I get, right? Felipe. That's it. No, I should remember it. So, that is one out.
A 25-year-old French daredevil did a tightrope walk across the top of New York in 1974 on a 131-foot cable strung between the 110-story twin towers of the World Trade Center. The aerialist, accomplished juggler and unicyclist is Philippe Petit, who said, "I see 3 oranges and I have to juggle. I see 2 towers and I have to walk." The stroll, 1,350 feet above street level.
Actually, this was my answer to my first interview after walking the Twin Towers.
And up here at 1,500 feet, or in that area, there is somebody out there in a tightrope walk between the 2 towers of the World Trade Center, right at the tippy top.
So I was handcuffed, and I was going to jail and in front of the judge, but then the press sneaked in and they said, "So why did you do that?"
Why did you do this?
And I was shocked by that question. Why? I never thought why. I did it because I am a war walker and I fell in love with 2 towers.
There is no why. It's just because when I see a beautiful place to put my why, I cannot resist.
I wanted to do something inspiring and poetic and memorable. So why? So my English was very bad at the time. So I come up with this one-liner. Why? Well, because when I see 3 oranges, I juggle, and when I see 2 towers, I walk. First, everything that I did during those 8 improvised crossings was just improvised. I didn't plan. I mean, I planned to walk across, and then I would see what happened. So in one of those crossings, I got the urge to look down, because I thought, I have to, in my head, to photograph the scene. It's unique. It will never happen again. And actually, the towers are gone, so it cannot happen again. So I sit down on the wire, and then I looked down around, and then I look all the way down to the plaza, and I loved it. And it was amazing because people were little ants, little dots, like I must have been for them, you know. And I will never forget that picture that I took in my head of that scene. It was beautiful and frightening and unique. The Haiwa should be a stage. Now, of course, it's a very narrow stage and a dangerous one, which is good. You have to take your life very seriously. I don't want to risk my life. I never did. I never will. So I prepare for a Haiwa walk, and I plan my entire life, you know, rehearsing. But that's what I would say to somebody who would like to learn. They said, you know, follow your intuition. There are no really schools of Hua walking. It's the most difficult art in the world, and it's the most easy art in the world. It's the art of walking. Except they don't teach that in university, how to walk, right? People do that naturally. It has to be a very mysterious and very personal chemistry that you develop by intuition and by passion and by rehearsing and practicing all the time. I have a way of not so much forgetting the world around me, but filtering the world around me to just be on the wire in the best ways.
It started out as another routine morning for a New York helicopter traffic reporter, but he had more to tell his radio listeners than how the traffic was on the West Side Highway.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have a very queasy feeling in my stomach right now.
It's very important in all the arts, in the art of living, to have a sense of focus, so you can really concentrate and do the best job in whatever you're doing.
Philippe Petit, a 24-year-old Frenchman, early this morning rigged a 140-foot steel cable between the two buildings using some sort of crossbow device.
Life is so beautiful, it should be enjoyed. And I consider this adventure, it was not me by myself, I was surrounded by friends and by friends of friends. I still consider it as the best moments of my life. I still do it, yes. I still have projects, professional projects all over the world. I have a very dear project of putting a wire on a mysterious Easter Island, which is populated by the sacred statue called Moai, and I would love to share my performance with the Rapa Nui, the inhabitants of the island. So that's a very dear project, but I have not yet, I must confess, met the patron of the arts who will sign the check to make that happen. So, you know.
Maybe they'll watch this.
Yeah, well, it's by talking about it that sometime it will happen. It's still a center of my life, and it's a very hard profession, you know. It takes a lot of organization and money to hire a walker to walk over a city, and yet I am ready to do that tomorrow.
So I want to just leave y'all with, I have a hard time saying goodbye today. I really do. You know, anyone that's actually endured this entire video, God bless you. I'm just, the best thing I can do is just share information with you. Try and motivate you. Try to keep you inspired and realize, you know, help you realize that even though we feel alone, we're not alone. You know, it's just about finding each other. You know, my channel is kind of rude and crude and a lot of attitude. But, you know, the thing is I try to keep it natural. And there's a definite difference between where I was 5 years ago to where I am today. I wish y'all the best. Stay inspired. Mean a lot to me. And, you know what? Let me actually just play it out.
brothers who fight by my side. Gather my horse and weapons, tell my family.